facility. Just saying, boy, just a creeping. Just last night I saw the light at the end of that tunnel on the other side. Thought I found my way out of this pain, only to find your memory train. Creeping, creeping, creeping.
Time now for the Kucnick Automotive and Towing Pit Road Show on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream from Stateline Speedway with your host, Josh Hosier. Support for this broadcast is provided by American Legion Post 365 in Corey, Kucnick Automotive and Towing in Bear Lake, Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer, Northwest Electrical Service in Warren, Simple Cuts Pet Grooming in Panama, and TR Cool Finds in Panama.
Another beautiful Saturday afternoon here at Stateline Speedway in Bustine, New York. I'm Josh Hosier, the host of the 98.9 Sports Stream Pit Road Show, and we are excited to be back at Stateline once again. After a rainout last week kept us away, we're back here and ready to get things going for another exciting night of racing. Joining me for the first portion of the show, maybe against his will a little bit, Whoa Nelly himself, Dan Nelligan. Dan, welcome to the show.
He's been begging me.
Pull the mic a little closer.
Oh.
Yep.
Hey, look. You know, first time being an interviewee. Usually I'm the interviewer. Josh has been asking me to come on all this time. It's been one of those things where there's so much going on race day. I'm also a chatty Cathy through the pits, just keeping up with everybody. Getting some storylines, you know, when you got to do the write-ups and things of that nature. It's an endless job, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely keeps you busy, no doubt about it, and I totally get it. You know, it's one of those things where best intentions are not always you're not always capable of it when everything goes sideways and you got a bunch of stuff to do. So totally understand it. But what a perfect time to bring you on. We just got done with the Whoa Nelly Modified Invasion last Thursday night here at Stateline, and it was a heck of a night.
It was. It's really cool to be able to bring a Whoa Nelly Modified show to my home track. This is really my home track when it comes to the Whoa Nelly thing. This is the first place that I was actually the track photographer for. I mean, I traveled all over. I was with the ULMS for a little bit, on the road, kind of seeing the sights. I mean, we went everywhere. It felt like we were Maryland, Southern PA, you name it, Ohio. We were all over, and this was really the first place where I was home here every week. A lot of opportunity, a lot of learning experiences here, and to be able to bring something that I've poured a lot of my heart and soul into to Stateline Speedway. Super appreciative of Bill letting us put this on. 31 cars in the pits, all-time high for not Stateline, but for my shows. And Dave has taken home his second ever. You think modified domination in this area, you think Dave Hess, and he's only won 2 of my shows. I think he's competed in at least half of them. And he avenges the heartbreak of his last appearance.
Yeah, so, you know, it's interesting. You mentioned 31 cars, which is incredible. but it's also a night to kind of celebrate that modified. I mean, you had a whole stacked field of different classes that, no one with a late model, right? So, what it did was it showed us what a Midwest racetrack looked like. And I said it a few times over the loudspeaker. This is Midwest racing. And if you go to any track out there like Minnesota, those places, this is what you see on a Friday or Saturday night. So it was really neat to kind of see that here at Stateline, a whole night dedicated to that sort of thing. And man, the open modifieds did not disappoint.
Didn't disappoint. Lots of passing through the field. Usually, I always say this, and I'm always tooting my own horn. I don't think Wonelli shows ever disappoint. It seems like everybody's got a little bit extra to, prove in one of those shows. Not only because we don't get to do them very often, taking home those awesome checks that we get to print up. And going back to that Midwest thing, out there, it's modifieds are kind of the premier division. And around here, we have so many modifieds. I know that the late model counts around here and the modified counts are almost equal. I think the talent in both fields are awesome. But what they're able to do on an 8-inch tire or 9-inch tire, whatever it is, I'm awful at the car stuff or the technical specs. I'm just here to promote them because I love them so much. When you have 900 horsepower and a tiny tire to put it all down with, it's insane. And, I mean, give it up for the Economod race. The Economod Mania making their debut last week here on that Thursday show, too. And that's another young promoter that came in, Alex Sullivan, who came around and said, hey, I love the Economods. And he put this thing together almost in about the same time frame that when I started my thing. And it was kind of cool to see two young promoters still getting their feet wet, also both on the same night. And to see a lot of amazing talent. I mean, Dennis Longer putting on a show, battling for the lead there. I don't know how many times the lead changed, but it seems like they went back and forth pretty good.
That was a great race as well. Actually, there wasn't a bad race all night Thursday night. Even the Challenger race, a lot of fun to watch. Different rules, I guess, allowing some outsiders to come in, and Trevor put on a show. Yes,
Trevor did put on a show. He's one of, in my quote-unquote local area where I'm actually from, born and raised out, the Bradford/McKean rule package is not really a totally different ball game, but when it comes to the challengers versus them, it is a little different. And it was kind of cool to see, and you did have some locals. Domingo is one of them that also was up there.
He ran right up front until he had some problems late in the race.
Yes, and you know what? Great segue to talk about tonight's big challenger race. What is it? King of the Mountain, I think, is the name of tonight's challenger race. $2,000 to win.
$2,000 to win. A $9,800 purse for challenger race. That's insane.
That's huge, and it's really, really good. And as somebody that we all, Josh, you and I included, everybody has their own jokes about the class, but it is really the most grassroots level racing. And if there's anybody out there listening thinking about what to do on a Saturday night, if you want to see a lot of backyard mechanics, these guys pour their time and effort into working on their car. There's a lot of guys that don't even have a garage that run this class. They got a tarp over it during the week.
Under a tree. They're trying to change the tires before they come to the track. I'll tell you what, though. Everybody has their jokes. I agree with you there. But I'll tell you this. Since I've been up here in the booth this season at Stateline, some of the most exciting feature events have been the Challenger class. I mean, they're running door-to-door the entire 12 laps or whatever it is, depending on the night. And, you can say what you want, or that's the time you go get your refreshments or whatever, but I'm telling you, don't. Stay in your seats.
Yes, they are very underappreciated, and I think and tonight, hopefully, them being in the spotlight tonight, some fans maybe be able to stick around and see them put on the show. And, I think the format here for the Challengers, 6-lap heats, 12 laps for the feature, I think it promotes some of the cleaner driving. You got to go. You don't want a caution to slow down your momentum in your race and stack the field up. Some of the best green to checkered racing, 2 weeks ago for, I don't remember the promotion of the night, but it was 2 weeks ago, and Andy Schumacher, who is a great mini stock driver. He's probably one of the top 10 maybe that has done it in my short time in the sport. I've spent a lot of time in Victory Lane, and when he won, I did go down there and talk to him, and he said, how fun this track was, and he came, 10 places to win, and he caught me in traffic, and what a show. I mean, it was probably one of the best races I've seen here this year.
Yeah.
With between passing, and he did it in a very veteran move way too. Used lap traffic, pivot through the field. That was the last lap pass for the win. I mean, how much more excitement can you get other than that?
Yeah, it's been a great class all year. And to deviate a little bit to tonight, excited to see the rush stocks back out there. They've been a great class to watch this year. And what we've seen Dar Diegelman do coming up through the field almost every night here at Stateline, kind of the same thing as that Challenger class. He comes out of nowhere, he takes his time, he picks his way through the field, and next thing you know, he's there battling for the lead.
Yeah, this class, I'm telling you, from when the Rush Racing Series announced it, and I don't want to say it was a false start, but when they first started it, it's probably one of the hardest things they've ever had to take off, and good on them. It is probably a class that we desperately needed in our area, an entry-level stock car class. It's awesome. They look amazing. The racing there, I mean, I was at Tri-City at the beginning of the year, and it was probably one of their first races for the entire season, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, anywhere I've seen them run now that they're starting to get car counts is very good. So, let me ask you this question. We just went through a bunch of different classes, kind of changed gears really fast, but, this season, not previous to this season, just this season where you've been, whether it be Bradford, Pittsburgh, here, different tracks, which class is the one that really has your heart this season?
So, I mean, what has my heart? It's so hard because there's so much good racing this year through every class. I mean, obviously the modifieds are always my favorite. They are always going to be special place. But this year, I mean, if we're talking about on-track, exciting action between different tracks, I mean, the stock car classes have been putting on great shows between. And I'll tell you, if you get a little confused with the different kinds of classes in our area, don't worry. I'm sure that Josh and I will be right there with you to be like, listen, we're not quite sure right now, but between the pure stock / rush stock cars that have been putting on great shows, the pure stocks run a not quite different rule package between, again, McKean and Bradford, and then the rush stock cars between Erie's here and Tri-City. But the racing on track, if you're going to ask me, like, if you're going to ask me, like, on track, if you're like, hey, who's going to put on the best show of the night? The rush stock cars are right there. Multiple different feature winners between every track. An absolute show. It's, to steal the quote from The World of Outlaws, every night's a shootout. I mean, it feels like the top 6 can win at any given moment. They're all right there.
Yep, I agree. Taking a look at our car count already, it's already looking pretty healthy. I mean, typical Stateline fashion, always a very nice car count here. Over 40 already, heading towards 50, so it's only 5:14. We'll be right where we normally are on a given Saturday night. Taking a look at that Challenger pack that's here. Don't see anybody new from out of town yet.
So on top of the King of the Mountain show, the rules were you had to race twice this year to be able to come. So for those who have been here all year, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces. There aren't going to be any out-of-towners that haven't at least raced here at least twice. So it'll be really nice for the local guys and the people that supported this track and get that extra payday, especially with such a big purse. This $10,000 almost in a mini stock purse or Challenger purse is insane. I mean, that's crazy.
It's big money. It's the kind of money that you see. I think it's comparable to a late model race where there's big enough money that you're going to wreck somebody to win it, right? I'm not suggesting someone should wreck someone tonight. I'm suggesting it's the kind of thing you go all out for.
Oh, you're going to be leaning on each other, when you're rolling onto the track. And I mean, I have a whole bunch of friends. I mean, I raced a go-kart a little bit this year before, my health issues have prevented that. But, I go out there with friends, and then you put on that helmet. Our good friend Kelly Shaglow there, she'll be the first one to tell you it's, gloves are off.
Yeah, it's all business. Yeah, and it's hard to blame any driver for that. They're there to win, right? I mean, in the end, that's ultimately the goal. So, yeah, some people are points racing. Some people are trying to preserve a top 5 because it's a good payout or something. But most everybody, they want to win. Mm-hmm. They're here to win. So you and I talked a little bit about making some picks for tonight. You want to go through and do that?
So what are we picking on?
Well, let's start with the. We'll go through the classes. We'll start with the rush stock cars.
I mean, how do you pick against either of the Michaels? They are really, when they roll into the racetrack, and I'm trying to get to the who's signed in already, if we're making picks based on sign-ins. But I know the Michaels
7
are
cars signed in already. But, I mean, it's going to be your regulars for that class tonight, I'm sure.
Caden or Andy, you always got to put the easy money on the 17X and the 17. And, I mean, Raiden Wilson. I mean, in that class, it's so hard to pick a winner because they are all under a blanket.
I'm going to pick a winner that hasn't had his spotlight yet, but he's always right there. I'm going to pick Cole Strickland tonight.
Oh, Cole getting it done. He was on 2 wheels during the Rush Stock Car special. He scared me a little bit. He almost went over, but he saved it.
Tell you what, all these guys run with a lot of heart out there. You ever get a chance to talk to Cole in the pits and stuff, and you just listen to him talking, he's so in love with what he's doing. He loves this. All right, so that's our picks for Rush Stock. Let's go to Mini Lates next.
And the Mini Late models, this is the first time they have been here in attendance since it feels like the spring, just with rainouts, cancellations, reschedules, and everybody's dealing with it. This area has been absolutely plagued with that kind of stuff. But how can you go against a guy like Chris White, who is on a rail recently? And, I mean, this is a good tune-up race. They got big money tomorrow night at Bradford. They had a big show yesterday down in McKean. I'm going with Chris White. He's had some speed. He's been running away from a lot of the top guys that you've seen in this area. And
he is the points leader here at Stateline through this point in the season. I'll take the guy second in points. I'll take Ryan Card. I think he is one of the few that have shown he could chase down Chris White. So they should put on a heck of a show tonight.
Ryan Card is, I mean, he's always amazing here in a mini late model. He has won so many times, and I mean, it's always magic. He's like the hometown boy here, so when he always picks up the win, the crowd's always roaring when he gets out of the car.
For sure. Excited to see how that race plays out tonight. Let's move on to Pro Stocks next. Not a ton checked in yet, but we know they're all coming. Can either go off, who you expect to be here more so than who's checked in so far. But currently, John Boardman leading the points by only 7 points over Chris Withers. Really competitive class so far this year, and I'll let you go first. Who's your pick going to be for Pro Stocks tonight?
I mean, if we're going to go, Jason Black, big Pepsi Pro Stock winner. Jason Black's shown some speed. And I mean, if you're going to be, Johnny B's always good here too, but Jason Black showed some speed here. Got to go with my heart on that one.
Yeah, it's hard to go against either of those two, but I think that's a good pick. I'm struggling with this one. I'm going to have to go with Boardman tonight. I think he's still on top of the mountain until somebody knocks him down.
But if you're trying to make your My Race Pass picks and you're trying to make some Hail Marys, last week the Gibson brothers visited Victory Lane for the second time at Erie's. Maybe they'll finally get her done here at Stateline Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, don't count them out. I'll tell you what, somebody else to keep an eye on, and I'm not sure exactly how this is going to play out rules-wise, but I did hear a request for Tony Murato, to be driving Brent Murato's car tonight.
Yes.
That could change things a little bit, too.
That's also exciting to see that he's going to whip that thing around, too, because he's always good here.
Rush Pro Mods, 3 cars checked in so far, but there'll be a lot more than that. Current points leader, Josh Wilcox, got a pretty good size 212-point lead. He's dominated this class, so I'm going to guess one of us is going to pick him.
Well, Josh Wilcox, I think, is also leading right now. I think he took it from Josh Canfield for the Rush Weekly points, which is a joint series points fund between the 3 tracks that run the Rush Pro Mods, plus all the special events. They all count. Top 12 finishes, just like the late models. However, if he's in attendance, he's not signed in yet, but if he's not, he'll be here. I'm going back-to-back. First-time winner last week, Cody Van Gilder.
Okay.
He's shown some crazy speed. He came out, it was like out of nowhere last week. I was like, you kept looking out the window and you're like, oh, he's coming.
And you've seen him, top fiving, but now finally right there in the top of the class.
And I'll say the first one's the hardest, right? The first one's the hardest. You get that out of your system, whether it be your first year in racing or your 20th year in racing. Once you get that first one, it seems like things start to fall in place for you.
My Pro Mod pick tonight is going to be a sneaky one because he's not in the top 5 in points, but he always runs well here, and that's Tyler Oakes. He's checked in already back there, so he'll take my pick tonight. I think he's got a good shot anytime he shows up.
He was super early arrival, and I mean, another first-time winner this year here at Stateline. A lot of first-time winners here, especially in the Pro Mod division.
Let's go. We got Challengers, Rush Lates, and Open Mods left, right?
Let's do the Challengers. They're the
premier class
They're the
tonight.
premier class. We're putting the spotlight on them.
That's
we'll
right.
save the best for last.
All right, so let's go Rush Lates next, since we're going to save the Challengers. And Rush Late model points leader Jason Jenko, he's got a 79-point lead over David Parker. Really kind of tight points battle behind first. He's got a decent-sized lead, then it's all real tight behind him, which is because there's been a lot of really competitive racing in that class. One guy who, I'll go first this time, who I think is due. I've picked him once already this year on the show, and he did not win, so maybe I'm bad luck for him. But, man, one of the guys who was a symbol of the early 2000s up at every track around here, just dominating in a modified, and that's Randy Hall. I think Randy has a great shot anytime he straps in, and tonight will be no different.
He's always right there, right? And I mean, in this class, it's one of those things where everybody is so good in the Rush Late models, within top 15. I mean, a top 15 in a Rush Late model around these parts is like, you're good. You're bad. You are beating guys that are certified Hall of Famers here, just being in top 15. However, I'm going an out of the park pick, since he's already signed in, and I'm going to say it. I really like watching him drive. I'm going to pick the 32 of Austin Allen.
You know, I knew you were going to pick him.
Just something about Austin's, dude.
I'll tell you what, Austin Allen always. I agree with you. Always a fun driver to watch. Definitely finds lanes that nobody else is really finding, so that's kind of fun to watch. Lots of guys do in that class, though. Could be really interesting tonight to see how things go for the Rush Late models. Open Modifieds next?
Yeah.
Outlaw Mods, as we call them here at Stateline. They have a lot of different names. They're not UMP mods. There's a few rule changes that are a little different to prevent them from being UMP mods. However, most of these guys can get UMP rules and race in a UMP race.
Yes, it really just comes down to tire. We opened our tire rules this year, Wonelli mods included. Stateline kind of blazed the path for us to go and have American racers added, just for the drivers themselves to save a little bit of money, and a couple tracks did drop the UMP sanction around here after we did, and it's I think the racing has gotten even better in the division since we've made the switch.
Yeah, a couple guys really standing out, already checked in. This is going to be a fun night, actually, for Open Modifieds. Wyatt Scott on hand, Dennis Lunger. You're going to have Troy Johnson here as well. Looks like it's going to be another one of those just shootouts for the Open Mod. So who are you going to take?
So it's always hard for an Open Mod race here, right? Because there are so many good. And this is probably one of the most competitive classes in our area. And that's not just because I promote the cars and the series and everything out there. You show up, and I'll use the Rush late models are a great example, but a top 15 in a modified, you are in front of guys that for 20 years they're feature winners, there's track champions behind you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Hail Mary pick here. CJ Ramsey gets his first win. Second, I think he's still second in points.
He is
second
currently second in points, 82 points
time.
back. So it could be a good night for him if he gets a win. He's chasing Greg Johnson, the points leader in this class. I'm going to go Wyatt Scott. I think he would have won on Thursday night if he wouldn't have had the car problem. I believe drive shaft broke.
He had a drive shaft go to the moon. It was actually stuck down here in the turn one fence, and it was in there. It wasn't just a little bit in there, and it went through his cockpit. And, I mean, we're lucky that we didn't break anything or lose an arm or something. Scary incident out there, but...
Very. But I'll tell you what, if the car runs like it did before it broke, I think he can chase down anybody here at Stateline. He was doing the Ryan Scott. He was up at the top of the racetrack trying to find grip, trying to find the moisture so he could get around everybody. And if he does that again tonight, it'll be a really fun race to watch. All right, we made it to the final class for tonight, the feature class, and that's the Challengers. And again, big money on the line for the Challengers tonight. $2,000 to win King of the Mountain, a $9,800 total purse to the class. This is, as far as I can remember, the biggest Challenger front-wheel drive race class purse I've seen locally in several years.
At least just for the Challengers. I don't know about the other things because there has been some big SCDRA Northeast races in the region,
Right,
where they're paying $2,500 to win, and I mean I've been to shows like that. And I mean they are. I mean once they get to the feature, they are ripping. I mean they ain't messing around. Some of them guys are insane.
It's going to be an interesting field tonight. Their current points leader, Holden Heineman, he's got a 46-point lead over Peter Volpe and another 40-something back to John Mees in third. Echevarria is fourth and Billy Joe Huffman fifth. However, there's been some guys who have been really close, and girls, in this class that you think they're going to finally break through. Bittinger being one of them. Seems like he's up front every week.
So I think the thing that we keep in mind when we're trying to make these picks is Holden is the points leader because he's been so consistent. And again, in 12 laps, trying to get it done here, on a regular night. I'm not really sure how many laps we got. Bad broadcaster here as I'm trying to look at what's going on over here. But so, I mean, he has not yet won a race here at Stateline. He's your points leader. And, I mean, even second in points. I don't think Pete Volpe has got to win.
He's not won this year.
There's a couple guys that are due, but I think you have to go. And I'm going on with the odds-on favorite. I mean, who else would the Vegas, if there were odds on this race from Vegas, which there is not, just so if anybody's listening, Domingo has 5 wins in he won like 4 straight there for a little while.
And if it wasn't for Shane Putt, I think he would have won Thursday night.
He's been on a rail, and out of that camp, it has been he's been so dominant, and he's been dominant other places too. So it's hard to go against Domingo, but I mean, look, you got guys that are due that are ahead of him in points. When you look at guys like Mees, who has 1 win, and you got your first and second in points between Holden and Pete Volpe. And Pete's no joke. He's always finding victory lane a couple times a year too.
That's right. You pretty much touched on a lot of the points I wanted to make, and it's hard to go against Echevarria, but I am going to go with the 5th in points right now, who I think is also due, Billy Joe Huffman, who has been knocking on the door, and on Thursday night just slowly crept through the field until all of a sudden she was right there competing for the win. You can't count her out. She'll appear from nowhere, 6 laps into a feature event, all of a sudden just emerges from 8th and she's in 3rd, 2nd. It's like, oh, okay, here she comes. So I'll pick her. I think she's due to get one as well, and I think it'd be really cool if she won tonight. Especially,
in around here, there's a ton of female drivers out here, and how cool would it be for a female driver to come out here? And there's been female drivers in the past, and I know if Randy Anderson's listening or around here somewhere, he's gonna tell me that I got to study up on my Stateline history, but I'm not sure when the last time a female driver has visited Victory Lane here, but it would be very cool. And Billy Joe's no joke. A feature winner, heat winner around these parts. They travel a whole bunch. Their notebook has to be super big. And on a bad luck streak, wouldn't it be great for a 2,000 to win?
Oh, yeah. It's a good way to turn your season around, right? I see a lot of drivers checking out Turn 2 right now, seeing what the moisture content is. And, Dan, for our fans sitting in the stands here at Stateline, and for anybody watching at home who hasn't yet made it here but is on their way, let's talk a little bit about that, because I don't think everybody fully, maybe comprehends what some of these drivers or crew chiefs are doing. They're not just going out there and standing on the dirt, right? Like, let's go through it a little bit.
Well, they're trying to figure out how deep the moisture is. I always used to make fun of guys that I have been on the road with where they would stick the screwdriver in.
Yeah.
And I would go, did you learn anything? And most of them would say no. I don't know if they're just trying to keep their speed secrets from me, but how deep the moisture is in, it affects tire choice. if
So it's supposed to be like the opposite of a cake, right? The screwdriver test. If it comes out clean, it's too dry. If it comes out with crap on it, dirt and mud, then the track's wet deep.
Yep, and that's it affects tire choice for the night, and I mean, here it can go any way. It could be a hard, slick racetrack. We've seen it gripped up, juiced up, as some guys would say, and there's a lot of changes that you'd make to your race car before you even hit the track for your heat race, depending on even the moisture content of the track. I mean, that's just one thing.
Yeah. And one thing that's interesting, I mean, obviously out there spraying the track right now, it's kind of hard to guess sometimes on this. You don't know what the temperatures are going to be. You don't know how quickly the sun's going to dry the track out. Is wind going to help the sun? So you almost have to prepare with expectations and then react on Saturday. So, the track crew, Saturday mornings, Saturday midday, right up until now, it's kind of a game of, okay, this is what's actually happening. Let's react. Mm-hmm. So it's a challenge, and it's an all-week affair. I think that's the other thing that some fans don't see. These folks are up here working this track all week long, different little things here and there to make sure everything's ready to go.
It's an absolute thankless job because you can work 80 hours a week on a racetrack, Monday up to Saturday morning, and it have no clouds in the sky, and then Saturday comes around, and then all that hard work
just ruins it. Yeah,
all spring. These guys worked their tails off Monday through Saturday just to watch all their hard work go away. So thankless job, and it's not a job that I ever wish to have. As somebody who sits there and hears 100 different things, it's a thankless job. Our guys, they definitely have figured it out through the year, and it's crazy, right? Dirt track racing is one of those things where you can do the same thing for years and it be successful, and just one day it just stop working, whether it's a car setup, whether it's track prep, whether it's whatever thing that we do. And again, thankless job. These guys work their tails off to give us a racetrack every Saturday.
So before I let you go, because I know you're probably itching to get out of here at this point, but we're going to hold you for a few more minutes. A couple other things going on in the area. I want to talk about what's coming up for Stateline, but then also what's coming up for some of the other tracks in the area. Next weekend for Stateline is a really special weekend. It's going to be the Vintage Modified 2-day show. Friday is going to be Sharp Mini Late Special, 1,000 to win, and the 5 Vintage Modified classes, as well as Open Mods, Pro Stocks, and Challengers. And then Saturday, so Friday night, I should go back a little bit. The Vintage Mod guys will run their heats and B-mains Friday night. Then Saturday they'll run their features. And then also here on the track that night, the Rush Late Model, Flynn's Tire and Auto, Gunther's Honey Touring Series, Super Lates, Pro Mods, and stock cars, Rush stock cars. So a busy 2 days, another busy 2-day show here at Stateline. Let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll go into what's going on around the region.
Yeah, well, the Vintage Rumble is something that kind of fell into our lap here, right? How that all came about, I'm not sure, but then when they got a hold of Stateline, and how cool of an idea is it? But like the vintage guys are some of the best. They are out there just racing for sport. There's no money on the line. They're just getting a trophy and a big check at the end of the night, or probably just a trophy. And you're going to see vintage late models. So if you're looking to see what race cars used to look like back in the day, and I mean, I think the modifieds go back. I've seen these guys race where I think the cutoff is maybe the 90s. I don't think the early 2000s have gotten there. I think the early 2000s is when they got their body types pretty much figured out to right. I have friends who drive big blocks and Sportsmen, the mud turtles as we always call them, or the backwards baby buggies or whatever you want to call them. Their body styles I don't think changed after the early 2000s, but before then, I mean, there was a lot of ingenuity in those 30, 40 years that they were just changing stuff, like the roofs are all crazy. So you're going to see a lot of history out on the racetrack, and it's really cool. I think to have something like 60-some cars confirmed, I saw on their Facebook group there. Super cool. There's a lot of people that are very excited for the vintage late models. Just, this is late model country.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to be able to see some throwbacks.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun, no doubt. I think I'm definitely most excited for the vintage late models, but again, that's like you said, it's late model country. I grew up with that, right? So for me, that's the most exciting class coming. But I think they're all going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be a really neat weekend where we can kind of look at the history. And actually, we're going to have some cool history tidbits we're going to share on air during the weekend. Just talking about the track's history, some driver history, things like that, because that's what this weekend's all about next weekend. So we encourage you to come out. It's not just a parade of cars. It's actual racing. And we have supplemented 4 classes each night from the Stateline regulars to also make it even more exciting, including that big mini stock race on Friday.
And the Rush Late Model Tour being in town, and I always like seeing those guys come around. Last week when we weren't here because Mother Nature decided to do what she does best this year. I hustled on down to Pittsburgh to see that show. What a fantastic show! 31 cars in attendance, or 36, or some crazy number. It doesn't even seem real. Pittsburgh doesn't even seem like a real place sometimes when you go down there, and it's just so big. And the racing was phenomenal. And it's always exciting to see the touring series come through here and see what those guys do best, because you're seeing some of the best drivers in the region come here, and on top of the vintage stuff and on top of the mini late model special, it'll be a cool night.
Absolutely. So we're looking forward to that next weekend. 2 nights here at Stateline. But let's talk about some of the other things going on in the region. I know tonight, not really competing against Stateline, but also going on, ULMS has a race down at Marion Center. I can't remember what that was to win. I think it's $5,000 to win.
$7,500 to win. Nathan Lawyer Lauber Memorial.
You got it.
I'm stumbling over top of it.
You got it. And you have to imagine, Dave Hess going to be a favorite for that one.
Is he signed in down there?
He is signed in. Did you see, while we're at it, Cedar Lake going on for the go ahead.
I don't even know. What race is that? Because I know what, World of Outlaws?
Yeah, the Outlaws.
Because didn't T-Mac go down there and he won the prelim?
One, and Chubb made the show last night, I believe. So been a pretty interesting night or weekend down there for those guys. Not as great of a weekend for Max. He's missed the show, but he's going to have another run at it. And their starting lineup is already set through some of the qualifying for the first several positions. And some good race car drivers already involved. I think they have Davenport starting 4th and Madden starting 3rd. So it's going to be a fun one for the big names down there. Hoping for our local guys that they not only make the show. McCready starts 10th after his win on the first night. So not only make the show, but also have a little fun. $100,000 to win for those guys.
Yeah, the USA National or something is the name of that race, right? And also, I think, wasn't it Bobby Pierce or Turbo or somebody jumped into the lake?
Yes.
Because there's a little pond, not lake.
It's a dirty pond, yeah.
It's not a lake. Just so we're clear, they're not running around like Lake Chautauqua or whatever. They have like this little dirty. It's green. I think they have like a little fountain in it. Or at least they do in iRacing. That's the only time I've ever visited.
There was a fountain in it I saw earlier this weekend. So I did see they have last chance qualifiers that'll take place today before they start the big show. It'll be the start of the big show, I guess. And they're going to take 4 more people from these last chance qualifiers. The first one, Boom Briggs, is going to roll off 8th. Chubb Frank's going to roll off 13th. So those guys, and Max Blair also in that one, he's going to roll off 5th. So 3 big local names all in that one last chance, and they're going to have to get up to 2nd to make the show. So Max, the closest, he's going to have some work. He has Devin Moran, Kyle Bronson, Cade Dillard in front of him. So big names there, not a bunch of local guys.
Oh yeah, and I mean, $100,000 to win. You're gonna see some big names out there.
Yep. The other last chance, no local guys that I see, but Ricky Thornton Jr. in that mix, and he's been top of the points for the World Outlaws all season. So to see him in a last chance race tells you the level of competition that exists there. Tomorrow night, moving away from World Outlaws, Bradford Speedway going to be having a big night tomorrow night?
Yeah, so the Charlie Severy Memorial, which got postponed from this last Thursday because Mother Nature did what Mother Nature did best this season. I think that's the perfect way to sum up our season's been. But $1,000 win, Sharp Mini late models on top of all of our, within the 5 other classes, Rush late models in attendance, which has been, so the Sharp Mini late models, the points battle there, I think the top 6 are all within 17 points of each other. It's been a blanket over top of them every single week. I mean, some of the best racing there I've seen. But the Rush late models, Jake Wilbur leads Jeremy Wonderling by 8 points, and it seems like Jake keeps just skirting away by just enough to keep just that tiny little cushion. And I mean, the racing there has been great, right? the Rush late models were there for the tour race. Speaking of the tour race that's coming up, they were like 4 wide during the dash race. It was some of the most bonkers things you've seen. But big show for them, 1,000 to win Sharp Mini late model. So if you like the little tiny cars that sound like angry bumblebees that'll be running around here tonight at Stateline, they got a big show tomorrow night too.
And we like to say nice things about the other tracks around, but we don't usually take the time to actually like go through this kind of stuff. I'm going to say this. You mentioned the racing is really good at Bradford. If you haven't been out there, now's a chance. Go out tomorrow night, take a look. Big night for them, and then next Saturday, another big night for them. So we'll talk more about Bradford. Another track having a good night tomorrow night is Erie's.
Erie's has autograph night, and
that
it's
is right.
One of my favorite nights of the year. Even if I wasn't a photographer, autograph night, come meet your favorite drivers. You only get so many times to come out of the grandstands if you are in the grandstands most of the time to come down, meet your favorite driver, get their autograph, take some photos. And it means a lot to these drivers to be able to do stuff like that, to interact with the people that 100% of the time don't get to interact with them and be able to talk to them. So make sure you go down, meet some drivers, see what these things are made out of too.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to put your hands on them.
It's always nice to go down, get close to the cars, talk to the driver, and you think you understand their personality from how they drive. Go down and meet them and talk to them. It's a little different, right?
There's a ton of characters in racing, and I think this place is filled with them. And autograph night's a perfect time to meet these guys because you only get to hear from 6, 7 a night down here in Victory Lane with a microphone in their hand.
Right.
And there's 23 other cars on the track. So.
Yep, absolutely. Another thing going on tomorrow night, just to mention, Lernerville is going to run their Sunday series. They do 5 Sunday races a year. This is the final one. But the reason it's significant and worth talking about is it's different kinds of cars, right? So sprint cars, big block modifieds, and the 305 Allegheny Sprint Tour, which we had here at Stateline earlier this year. That's local Nolan Groves in that series.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if he's been back yet. He's had some motor issues. So he was talking this morning at the kart track. Maybe potential that he'll stroll on down to Lernerville and finally get back in a sprint car. He's been pretty dominant over there on that tiny little oval that we get to overlook here in the press box.
And I'll say this about Lernerville. They don't normally run on Sundays. It's a weird deal. But they do once in a while just because they have so many classes that want to be on the track is really what it comes down to. And to our fans here, we don't run the same night as them, so it's not competing. I'll tell you this. Get down there and check that track out. It's a whole lot of fun. I lived about 20 minutes from there for about 6 years, and I was there every Friday night.
It's and also it's 3 classes on a Sunday. They're usually done by 9 o'clock. It's fantastic. And shout out to Erie Speedway, too, for being done super early on a Sunday.
That's one thing I like about all these Sunday tracks. They honestly commit to getting it done. I've heard some drivers even say it's Sunday that, or for Erie's, that they've had a hard time getting in the lineup chute. It's that fast. They're just like, oh wait, we're up next, and they're already on the track. So you really got to be paying attention if you're in the pits at those tracks. So that kind of rounds out the area, right? There's any other big races that we're missing?
I'm not sure on the Sunday deal, but yeah, we got them all. I think we got them all.
A lot of good racing going on around the area. This is the best time of year for racing because there's something like 3 nights a weekend or sometimes 4 every weekend for the month of like July and August. It's a lot of fun.
And it's almost money season, right? Fall's usually when the big shows. I mean, September, it feels like there's a special
every weekend
around these parts. I mean, you got Topless Weekend out in Genesee, and you got October, you got the Pittsburgher going on, and then you got the Steel City Stampede and Lerner. And I mean, up here we have the Fall Brawl, and that's the 2-day show, right? I'm forgetting the name of the October show that we got. We got so much branding going on here.
Just don't tell Bill we forgot the name of the October show. But
I think it's Oktoberfest or something like that. I'm not sure.
Oktoberfest Bash, that's what it's called.
We got it close.
And that's a big one, October 4th here at Stateline. But, it's pretty cool at Stateline because they're going to do the Fall Brawl on September 12th and 13th. And then they turn around the next weekend, and it's monster trucks here at Stateline. Mm-hmm. That's like a completely different world, right? And it's kind of cool to go and see some of the best racing in the country in the fall like that. And then turn around and, hey, just take a weekend and chill and watch some monster trucks and motocross and something a little different from Stateline.
Yeah, I will say, we've had some of the most different stuff out here, and we've attempted some of the most different stuff. That, again, Mother Nature doing what Mother Nature did. Kind of rained on our parade a little bit, and it's how it goes. But I think the rest of the season, we got some exciting stuff in store.
I told you I would avoid it, but I'm not going to. So bear with me for a second. There's one more thing I want to talk about.
What was it? So we're both St. Bonaventure alumni.
That's right.
And I'm sure, I don't know if you worked on the buzz or not, but we always had the same meeting every year that countless minutes of airtime has been killed due to silence or something
That's
like
right.
that. So what are we bringing up?
We're going to talk about the late model rankings that 98.9 released. And I know, so the first person I asked when they came out this week, and I'll tell you guys, 98.9 releases these late model rankings based purely on points assigned based on how you finished in a race. So we assign a number of points for a top 10, a top 5, a victory, and then the quality of competition in which you're in. Is it a local race at your local track? Is it a regional kind of race, like a ULMS type event, or like a 10,000 to win race at Stateline where you get regional competition? Or is it a national race with a national touring series? Dan, we talked this week. You come up with some ideas to help me refine this even further. We're going to put those in place as the season goes on. So next year it's a lot cleaner. But people can be as mad at this ranking as they want to be. It's based on numbers. It's not my opinion. So I kind of find it funny when I get and I have on X got a few comments like, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, cool. You keep that opinion, but this is realistic. This is based on how these guys are performing. And one thing you told me when we first started this year, and I ran the first one by you, was, hey, you have to be very specific about what is the region that's acceptable, right? So we narrowed it down to New York and Pennsylvania. And then the 2 tracks in Ohio that are accepted are Sharon and Raceway 7. Anything else in Pennsylvania, if that's your home track, in Ohio, if that's your home track, we're not including you. So the Atomic guys, those guys down that way, they're not part of this.
So yeah, when you get into the I always said the Ohio Valley region, that's a whole different atmosphere. Plus, I mean, when you start looking at Wayne County, Attica, Fremont, those guys out there, you start getting into the it's way out there.
Yeah.
That becomes almost like this side of the Mississippi kind of
right.
conversation.
Yeah, and then you start getting into that deep south, and you get the series like the Joiner series, the Hunt the Front guys, and those guys can go win a national show any night, right? So, yeah, it gets real crazy real fast. We're trying to stick to this region, and I could say we could make it even smaller and just say Western PA. The problem I have with that is we get some really good drivers who drive really far to be part of this region, and I don't want to exclude them. So, honorable mention this week were Michael Lake, Colton Flinner, Ken Schultbrand, Brian Bernhiesel, and Chubb Frank. Chubb new to the list, as is Michael Lake. Those guys had not acquired enough points previously. Chubb didn't run that much early in the season this year, but he's had some real solid runs, including the Firecracker. I mean, he was top 10, I think, right? So Chubb showing up on the scene here as the season goes on. He gets himself on the honorable mention list. Any surprises there on the honorable mention side?
Nope, I think you hit it right on the head. Those are some heavy hitters. I mean, when you got those guys showing up in the region, fantastic.
10th place, Alex Faree. 9th, Jared Miley, who was here earlier at Stateline this year. Didn't have his best night here at Stateline, but he's had some pretty good nights elsewhere. 8th, John Lee. 7th is going to be Michael Norris, and we'll stop there for a second. So that part of the top 10, Michael Norris, one of those guys, he's gone out with the big tours a couple times. Never really been able to stick with the big tours, but regionally he's a force.
He's a force, and you know what? John Lee's one of those guys, too, that I've seen him win a couple races this year already, especially the one at Mercer, which I can't stop talking about. And Jim Ballantyne, I don't know, he's probably not listening. He's at Sharon right now for the Lou Blaney Memorial, but he's been begging me. He was begging me all season, all last season, come to Mercer, come to Mercer. I'm like, okay, you guys got super late models at Mercer. I got to check it out. He won on 7 cylinders, and I forget who he hunted down because I think Bam Bam finished like 3rd or 5th or something, but he hunted down the leader on 7 cylinders and then was gone.
It's pretty cool.
So, I mean, dude can drive. Michael Norris can drive. I mean, I remember watching him. We were going down to Thunder Mountain a couple years ago. Amazing. So, yeah, good start to the list.
We get to 6th place, and we run into a guy that everybody around here is either a huge fan of or not a huge fan of. There's no in between, and that's Dave Hess Jr. in 6th spot. Dave rocketing up this list. He's moved up 9 spots since the last time it was released. And part of that has to do with he's been on a hot streak, right?
He's been on a hot streak, but also he didn't acquire a ton of points early in the season due to motor issues, so he just wasn't around for a little while. And that kind of sucks to see one of the guys that he's kind of like the measuring stick in the area.
Yeah.
You know, he is the guy. He goes to the dome with his modified. He puts on a show and kind of puts our region on the map for modifieds too. So him not being out there, you know, was early in the season was kind of a bummer.
Yep. We'll see how he continues to go. Let's see if he can break the top 5 and continue to charge towards the front. 5th place, Logan Zarin. 4th place, Brock Pinkerus. And then we'll stop there again, and then we'll do the top 3. But those two guys, really, Brock is so young. To think that he's now transitioned to the late model and his focus is on that, and he's a top 4 driver in the region. I mean, it's pretty crazy to watch. I remember the first time he came up here to Stateline, and everybody was so excited to see this kid go out there and wheel the car, and he did. He went around the top of the racetrack and won that night. So, man, progress there, huh?
He's and he's one of those young kids that will only get better with age, right? As someone who, you know, talks with Russ and who he deals with a lot of young talent, and it's that maturing process. He's young and he has, you know, great equipment and he can drive, but once he stops making those, I hate to say kid mistakes, because he's out there racing nose to nose with, you know, grown men. When he stops making those not rookie mistakes, but when he gets over that hump where he starts doing more, you know, not thinking, he's going to be like a number 1 driver in the area, you know. I mean, he's already out with ULMS doing good. Path Valley, he put on a good show.
And he's right there in the mix every night. And that brings us to our top 3. Our top 3 are regional guys that have all been on national tours but have dropped back to the regional level. Very similar to what Michael Norris, John Lee, those guys have done. Well, John Lee, I guess he never was full-time committed to a national tour, but he's been on some national tour races. So those top 3 are Rick Eckert, Greg Satterley, and the top goes to Mason Ziegler. Ziggy, who just dropped off this year for the first time in, I think, 5 seasons, is dominating locally. Central PA, Central New York, where he goes, he wins.
Yeah, and I mean, he's there's a reason why he was able to hang out on the tour, right? He is the man. He is in this region the guy, right? If you said, hey, who's the guy when he rolls in the pitch, you're like, no, you know, if you're on a different team, he's the guy that you're like, well, we got to work today. And I mean, and he's not, he and Hess had that battle at Genesee there for that big Stars and Stripes showdown or whatever the name is. My brain's only got so much up here, so much space. But they put on a show there, and I think he bounced back the next night. But man, he's the one. And I mean, Rick Eckert, legend, one of the legends down there in Central.
I mean, he's been doing this forever, man. It seems like he and Shaw are about the same amount of time in the sport, right? I mean, they've both been at it forever.
I mean, he's racing against no jokes down there in Central PA.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that whole area down there is loaded with talent. And the funny thing is, I've actually included all those tracks in this and all those drivers, and it's interesting. They actually beat each other up so much that they hurt themselves in the overall power rankings.
Well, if you look at the talent, like the talent pool that even races a regular points race at like a Port Royal down there, the names that come in there, I mean, like they got some top talent down in that neck of the woods.
Yeah, and you see a guy like Greg Satterley who can show up on any given week and win on a national tour. I think he's always close at Eldora. He's like always in the mix there. And then he's down there running regular like Port Royal and those tracks, and I think Sellens Grove he's running pretty regularly at. And it's kind of crazy to see that he's pulling in every Saturday night to a track. That's wild to me. So it's probably what people think when they see Max rolling. Like, oh no, Max is here to take our money.
Yeah.
But it's been fun here at Stateline this year. Every time Max has showed up, with the exception of the one week prior to the 10,000 to win show where he was really kind of 3/4 a lap ahead of everybody. It's been competitive, and people have given him a challenge.
Yes, and I mean that battle between him and Hess during the 4th of July, I mean, how much better can you get?
That was fun.
Right? I mean, and again, those guys lapped up to, I guess, 6th place.
Yep.
And it's because they couldn't get away from each other. They were at the wall the entire way for however 50 laps or whatever it was. It was probably one of the most insane pieces of driving I've ever seen out of two people without anything going wrong. That was
Yeah.
insane.
They didn't take each other out. They ran a nice and clean race for, there was a little conversation at the end about whether or not he got doored, I think. But the thing is, I watched it from up here, and while I was trying to catch my breath on the way down to do the interview, my first thought was, man, how did I just get to call that awesome race? So, as a fan, if you weren't here for that one, you got to get here for that the fall race, because it's going to be just as exciting, and the October one's going to be the same way.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when money's involved, everybody's going all out, right? But I mean, the caliber of driver that they were just going. I mean, those guys were just. They were leaving it all out there, and I mean, it was probably one of the most insane late model races I've seen here since I've started doing photo, which hasn't been that long. I don't have like the tenure of like a JP's or something that was here like since the track opened or something, and I mean that dude could remember anything.
I'll tell you what, you go talk to someone like Toby in the pits, ask them their opinion on some of this stuff, and it's interesting to hear that perspective, somebody who's been around the sport as much as they have. And I encourage people to do that. If you're a young driver, or you're somebody who's just getting involved in the sport, the best thing you can do is to go listen to the stories and listen to the experiences of some of these guys like that. And I saw Ward wandering around earlier. He's another one of those guys. Ward Shell, you should go listen to everything he has to say. The guy knows so much about this sport. He knows more about it when he's sleeping than you do when you're awake. Go talk to these guys, and learn from them. But so last thing, and then I'm going to let you go, and we're going to get to some music. I just want to talk about Wonelli Productions. So, you probably don't get a lot of chance to plug yourself, so this is probably going to seem like a little weird for you. But let's talk about, what you guys are doing and, what this has become.
What aren't we doing? It seems, Oh, I'm getting yelled at.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need someone to just constantly make sure I'm just in the right lane here. So, I mean, Wonelli, it blows my mind that this guy, Craig Melvin, was like my professor, and again, still good friends, great mentor. And I came there and I did a whole thing, in a class. I was probably the only person in that entire class that knows what dirt track racing
exactly.
is. And which was awesome. And I got hooked, and then, the old pandemic happened, and I had a lot of free time on my hands on the weekends. So we drove all over, kind of just figuring it out. Roaring Knob is a place I haven't been back to since then, that I was just like, wherever's racing, we're going to go and take photos. And that came about to now the LMS deal, where I was on tour with them for about a year and a half, and then I came the track photographer here, which we're still here, still kicking. And then it's just exploded into this. I don't know what we did right, but we went from photos to now promoting races, and we sponsor drivers, which is always a hotly contested debate because we only have like 6 of them. We try to keep it small so we can promote them, and I mean, and we also make a whole bunch of funnies on the Facebooks because that's what we're here for.
Oh, you got to have fun with it for sure. But, I think a lot of the drivers would agree, a lot of the ones that have talked to you and get to know you and the folks who are taking pictures for you, you guys are you're good people. It's fun to talk to you guys. And so they all want to support you. They want to be part of what you guys are doing here. And it's cool to see Wonelli evolve and become something more than just taking pictures. Not that that's not important, but you've become more than that now. Yeah,
I kind of molded this into, well, no one's doing this, so why can't we do it here? Recognizing drivers of the week and recognizing drivers of the month, and now, hey, what if we had a go-kart and we put different people in it every week, and which turned into me driving for a little bit because I got a little hooked, and now I had too much fun too quick, and now I can't drive it right now. But yeah, man, it's kind of crazy that we went from a guy that was just a fan who literally sat in the stands at McKean County Raceway to this day, and I remember crying because my favorite driver in the world back then, whoever it was, I don't want to play favorites as I always try to do. I sat in the stands crying because my favorite driver, I think he got wrecked or something, and I was like bawling, and I'm like, that little kid probably would think this is the coolest thing in the world. Yeah. And now we're kind of evolving into creating a publication with Tri-State Auto Racing News, or whatever me and Jim Ballantyne have come up with for a name for that. And it's coming to this point where, it's super cool. We can put such a highlight on such a cool region in racing. And my passion for this is obviously has never changed. And it's super cool. It's super cool to see like these legendary race car drivers I grew up watching, and they're just like, "Hey, Nelly," and I'm like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah. I'll tell you, the only time this year that I've been completely starstruck, not to steal that moment, but that's exactly what happened to me. Dick Barton walked in here and grabbed the mic to talk about the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, and I just sat here like oh my God. And I've met him before in the pits, but it was just that group of people walking in. It was like everyone in this room is a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I agree with you completely. And there's some of the guys that are back here now. I've never had a conversation with like Boom Briggs when I've talked to him, a half dozen times, where he's not the nicest guy in the world, but you're still like, wow. You know what I mean?
I think, my first World of Outlaws show that I took photos here, which was actually my first time here as a credentialed photographer, was another one of those moments where I was like, you talk about milestones in your career, whether it be your broadcasting career over here or your whatever. But it's one of those things where, you take your first World of Outlaws show and then, let's go to Eldora now, which I did. We did the back-to-back World 100s there, and it's crazy to think about how many experiences this has started when all I was just some guy down here in turn 4 with a camera.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how we got here. I don't know why people listen to me either.
Well, we're happy you got there. We're happy Will Nelly's part of what we're doing here at Stateline. You've made it an enjoyable experience for me. I can say that. And I know Bill's very thankful for everything you do for him. This Pit Roadshow thing, you helped me get it off the ground, and so I'm definitely grateful for that. And you also helped me chase down drivers for interviews, which is not always an easy task.
Listen, I'll tell you something that I've learned as a media personnel is that you will always know that race car drivers are more afraid of getting a microphone shoved in their face or a camera shoved in their face. Perfect story, because I know he's in the pits and I hope they're listening. Wyatt and I went back and forth when I first started this for like 3 years where he'd be in the lineup shoot or something. I don't even remember when he was racing late models a whole lot more. And I try to take a photo of him in the car, and he would just look straight down or look to the side. We could never get it. And that's where I came up with they're always more afraid of you than you are of them. Because then once you get them talking, obviously, in an interview, fantastic. But yeah, it's such a funny thing where I'm sure when you first started doing interviews and stuff, and you're just kind of hyped up, you're like, oh, you're a little nervous, and then you realize that they are also kind of a little nervous, kind of like Mexican standoff-ish.
Yeah.
They're just like, what do you want to talk about?
Exactly. What do you want? Yep, exactly. Well, again, thank you for your time on the show with me today. It really was insightful, I think, to get some other point of view. We're going to take a moment from our sponsors, a couple songs, and when we come back, we'll review points. We'll review, again, the schedule upcoming and the rest of tonight's events. And we'll get to all that here on the 98.9 Pit Road Show.
Kucnick Automotive and Towing is the platinum sponsor of the Channel 98.9 Pit Road Show from Stateline Speedway. Located at 1710 Greenlee Street in Bear Lake, Kucnick Automotive offers general maintenance and repair, battery and electrical system repair, car and motorcycle towing, wheel and tire repair, and much more. Phone 814-462-6233. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Kucnick Automotive and Towing for being a major supporter of the Pit Road Show from Stateline Speedway. Support for the Channel 98.9 Kucnick Automotive Pit Road Show is provided by Simple Cuts Pet Grooming, located on Weeks Road in Panama. Simple Cuts provides one-on-one service for your pet by booking one dog at a time to allow for a relaxed spa day for your pet. Simple Cuts offers dog and cat grooming as well as nails and baths. The phone number is 716-603-7475. Simple Cuts Pet Grooming treats your pet like family. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Simple Cuts Pet Grooming for their support.
This broadcast of the Channel 98.9 Kucnick Automotive Pit Road Show is funded in part by TR Cool Finds, located at 1 East Main Street in Panama. Email trcoolfinds@gmail.com. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks TR Cool Finds for their support.
Paid a little more for a haircut. Ironed up a pearl snap, left that old ball cap. Gave myself a little extra smell good splash. I did it for the girl, dancing in the sunset, to get to see her sipping on Corona, little silhouette. I did it for the moonlight, slow ride, sliding over by my side, been waiting on it all night, kiss. I did it for the girl. I dialed her up some old George Strait. Me and old George sang Marina Del Rey. There by the water's edge, big sky turning red. That perfect night, she said she can't forget. I did it for the girl, dancing in the sunset, to get to see her sipping on Corona, little silhouette. I did it for the moonlight, slow ride, sliding over by my side, been waiting on it all night, kiss. I did it for the girl. I did it for that long hair falling down, laying on her shoulders. Those blue eyes want me to hold her. I did it for the girl, dancing in the sunset, to get to see her sipping on Corona, little silhouette. Did it for the moonlight, slow ride, sliding over by my side, been waiting on it all night, kiss. I did it for the girl, dancing on the front porch, reaching out to grab my shirt and pull me through the front door. I did it for the midnight candlelight, anything to make her mine, all mine. I did it for the girl. I did it for the girl.
Once upon a time, a few mistakes ago, I was in your sights. You got me alone. You found me. You found me. You found me. I guess you didn't care, and I guess I liked that. And when I fell hard, you took a step back. Without me, without me, without me. And he's long gone when he's next to me. And I realize the blame is on me. 'Cause I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So shame on me now, blew me to places I've never been. Till you put me down, oh, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So shame on me now, blew me to places I've never been. Now I'm lying on the cold hard ground. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Trouble, trouble, trouble. No apologies, he'll never see you cry. Pretends he doesn't know that he's the reason why you're drowning, you're drowning, you're drowning. Now I heard you moved on from whispers on the street. A new notch in your belt is all I'll ever be. And now I see, now I see, now I see. He was long gone when he met me. And I realized the joke is on me. till you put me down. Oh, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So shame on me, let out, flew me to places I've never been. Now I'm lying on the cold hard ground. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Trouble, trouble, trouble. And the saddest fear comes creeping in, that you never loved me or her or anyone or anything. Yeah, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So shame on me now, flew me to places I've never been. Till you put me down. Oh, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So shame on me now, flew me to places I've never been. Now I'm lying on the cold hard ground. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Trouble, trouble, trouble. I knew you were trouble when you walked in. Trouble, trouble, trouble. I knew you were trouble when you walked in. Trouble, trouble, trouble.
People say I'm just a rough boy. I ain't no good for you, girl. It's a dead end street trying to love me. Yeah, I'll wreck your world. I can see why they're all talking, looking back at my past. I've got a bad name, but a man can change. I'm living proof of that. Till my last day, till my last breath of everyone that can, I can love you the best. Till my last day, I'll be loving you. All the way up till they lay me down, 6 feet under the cold hard ground. To my last day, I'll be loving you. Baby, I might meet all my friends, shoot the bull, have a beer or two, but you know I'll be the first one to leave in a hurry to get to you. Somewhere deep inside your angel eyes, I found a place to rest. Don't ever doubt that I'll be around. And baby, don't you ever forget, till my last day, till my last breath of everyone that can, I can love you the best. Till my last day, I'll be loving you. All the way up till they lay me down, 6 feet under the cold hard ground. To my last day, I'll be loving you, darling. Yes, I will. Till my last day, till my last breath of everyone that can, I can love you the best. Till my last day, I'll be loving you. All the way up till they lay me down, 6 feet cottonwood falling like snow in July. Sunset Riverside, four-wheel drives in a tail light. Circle, roll down the windows, turn it on up. Pour a little Crown in a Dixie cup, get the party started. Girl, you make my speakers go boom, boom. Dancing on the tailgate in the full moon. That kind of thing makes a man go, You're looking so good in what's left of those blue jeans. Drip of honey on the money maker, gotta be the best buzz I'm ever gonna find. Hey, I'm a little drunk on you and high on summertime. If you ain't a 10, you're a 9.9. Tipping and spilling that homemade wine on your tied-up t-shirt. Every little kiss is driving me wild. Throwing little cherry bombs into my fire. Good God almighty. Girl, you make my speakers go boom, boom. Dancing on the tailgate in the full moon. That kind of thing makes a man go, You're looking so good in what's left of those blue jeans. Drip of honey on the money maker, gotta be the best buzz I'm ever gonna find. Hey, I'm a little drunk on you and high on summertime. Let's slip on out where it's a little bit darker. And when it gets a little bit hotter, we'll take it off on out in the water. Girl, you make my speakers go boom, boom. Dancing on the tailgate in the full moon. That kind of thing makes a man go, You're looking so good in what's left of those blue jeans. Drip of honey on the money maker, gotta be the best buzz I'm ever gonna find. Hey, I'm a little drunk on you and high on summertime. Yeah, I'm a little drunk on you.
Support for the Pit Road Show from Stateline Speedway is provided in part by Northwest Service Company, your local authorized generic and Kohler dealer located at 406 Chestnut Street in Warren. Since 1991, this family-owned business has proudly served the region's residential, commercial, and industrial electrical needs. Northwestern Service Company offers expert sales, service, and installation of generic and Kohler generators with multiple service technicians and 24-hour emergency service available. Northwest Service is happy to handle maintenance, service, and even warranty work on existing units. For more information, call 814-723-3521.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane and Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
The Pit Road Show from Stateline Speedway on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is sponsored by Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning, located at 147 East Main Street in Corey. They offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com. Channel 98.9 thanks Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing for their support.
Welcome back into Stateline Speedway, the Pit Road Show on the 98.9 Sports Stream. My name is Josh Hosier, and we were able to have a really great first hour of the program. I want to thank Dan Nelligan from Whoa Nelly Productions for joining us for that first hour. Tonight at Stateline, Challenger 2,000 to win, King of the Mountain. Huge purse on hand and a huge 2,000 to win for the Challenger class tonight. Excited to see that one. 100 cars in the pits, maybe over 100 at this point, as my race pass tends to lag behind just a little bit. So right on track to be a regular state line car count, even without the super late models on hand tonight. And the super late models are off tonight to support the ULMS event at Marion Center. Don't want to compete with our other local racetracks, so we will have no super late models tonight. Just want to remind everybody, next weekend, a 2-night affair here at State Line. Friday, August 8th, the Vintage Rumble Day 1 and Sharp Mini Late 1K to win. Vintage classes will run heats and B mains, and then Open Mods, Pro Stocks, Challengers, and Mini Lates will finish up the program. Then on Saturday, August 9th, it's Day 2 of the Vintage Rumble, and that will include the Flynn's Auto Gunter's Honey Rush Late Model Touring Series. The vintage classes will run their features, and then there'll be Super Lates, Pro Mods, Rush Stocks, and then the Touring Series for Flynn's Automotive Gunter's Honey Rush Late Models to round out the program. So 2 nights of great racing here at State Line Speedway next weekend. And, as we said in the first segment, Vintage Rumble does not mean a parade. It means racing. So come on out and enjoy some of those older cars as they take on State Line and put on a good show for us next weekend. Quick points review. We're just going to do the top 3 in most of these classes. Challenger points, 3rd place is John Mees. He's 87 points out of 1st. 2nd place is Peter Volpe. He's 46 points out of 1st. And the leader is Holden Heineman. He leads with 690 points acquired. In Rush Stocks, 3rd place, that's Cole Strickland. He's 126 points out of 1st. Caden Michael in 2nd, 69 points back. And Dar Diegelman, your points leader, with 735 points. In Rush Pro Mods, Tim Peterson sits in 3rd with 214 points behind the leader. Cody Rickard going to sit in 2nd. He's 212 points behind the points leader. And Josh Wilcox, with a commanding points lead, has 707 points acquired so far this season. On to mini lates now. 3rd place, Jacob Hinson, 196 points he's acquired. That puts him 42 points out of 1st. 2nd is Ryan Card. He's just 28 points back of the leader. And your points leader in the mini lates, Chris Wythe, with 238 points. Halfway through, Pro Stocks up next. 3rd place is Jason Black. He's 66 points out of 1st. In 2nd is Chris Withers, just 7 points back of the points leader, and that's the 777 of John Boardman with 642 points acquired. In Rush Late Models, 3rd place belongs to Randy Hall. He's 97 points out of the lead. 2nd to David Parker. He's 79 points out of the lead. And Jason Jenko, your points leader, with 541 points. Outlaw Mods, 3rd place belongs to Jason Brightman. He's 129 points back of the leader. 2nd belongs to CJ Ramsey, 82 points back. And your points leader with 560 points is Greg Johnson. Then late models will do the top 5 for those guys. In 5th is Doug Eck. He's 117 points out of the lead. In 4th, Daryl Bozzard. He's 70 points back. In 3rd, Wendell Pickney. He's 64 points out of the lead after leading the points earlier in the season. 2nd belongs to Kyle Bedell, who's been right there in the top 3 all season. He's 40 points out of the lead. And the points leader for the super late models is Ryan Scott with 486 points acquired. Last race here at State Line was that Thursday night modified madness event with the Wonelli Modifieds and those outlaw mods. The winner was Dave Hess, Troy Johnson 2nd, Greg Johnson 3rd. Before that, the last event was Fan Appreciation Night, and we saw Andy Schumacher, Cody Van Gilder picked up his first win in the Pro Mods, Dar Diegelman in the Rush Stocks, Jason Black in the Pro Stocks, Jason Jenko in the Crates, Troy Johnson picked up the Outlaw Mod win, and Greg Oakes back to victory lane in the Super Lates. Last night at Raceway 7, UMP Modified, Dave Hess Jr. over Bud Watson and Josh McDonald, and in Rush Lates it was Billy Henry over Dave Hess and Jason Jenko. Tonight's events are going to be getting started here in about 35 minutes. Which means that we've come to just about the end of the Pit Road Show. I want to thank you for joining us here on the 98.9 Sports Stream, and we'll see you again next weekend for the Vintage Modified Special. Until then, it's another wonderful State Line Saturday night, so we'll see you here in about a half hour for the racing.
Thanks for tuning in to the Kucnick Automotive and Towing Pit Road Show on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream from State Line Speedway with your host, Josh Hosier. Support for this broadcast is provided by American Legion, Post 365 in Corey, Kucnick Automotive and Towing in Bear Lake, Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer, Northwest Electrical Service in Warren, Simple Cuts Pet Grooming in Panama, and TR Cool Finds in Panama. Join us next time for the Pit Road Show from State Line Speedway.